Hi there, Capricorn. Welcome to your May 2020 reading. It's great to see everyone. I hope that you're doing well. I'd like to extend some gratitude to all of you, not only for showing up, but for many of you just being patient, as I know this took an extra day to come out because there were a few technical glitches when I did the live broadcast. What you're seeing today is a nice complete version of all the information for the month ahead, so rest assured you're going to get everything that you need with this. All right, that being said, let me properly introduce myself. My name is Ashbaugh. Again, this is for Capricorn and the month of May 2020. I designed these readings so that you can use them for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon. You can also watch on behalf of someone that you love in your life. The way that it's organized is in 4 major parts, beginning with psychic or channeled information. This occurs when I meditate right before I get started. And it's probably my favorite part because I'm connecting directly with my raw intuition. So it's clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and basically I write this down before I get started and share it with you. So that'll be the first part. Then we move along to a traditional Celtic cross where I lay out all of the cards and we see high points, challenges, and all of the in-between information. It's a really great blueprint for the month ahead, and it will enable you to make the best decisions possible. I then extend the forecast and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. These are like additional lenses that you can put on top of what I've already talked about, and it provides additional context in all of those areas. Once we've navigated through all of this, I'll do a quick review of what we talked about, and then I move on to something really special called the soul path. And as we look at the soul path, this is going to allow everybody to dig a little bit deeper into the year ahead. So everything that we talk about before that is really for May, but the rest of it is going to help you through the rest of 2020. And for your sign in particular this month, as I was starting to meditate, the main information that came through, again, it was all about transformation. So we'll be looking at ways that you can move into that energy of changing, and also how perception can assist with that, because a lot of times our own lens of perception either holds us back from moving forward or sometimes helps us see the opportunity and encourages us to step into that energy of change. So we'll be getting into that at the very end. And then I like to cap it off with a meditation, which is a way to really integrate all of the lessons, all of the energy from everything that we talked about in the session. All right, let's move along to the channeled message for the month of May. As I was meditating on your sign, what came to me was the image of transformation or death itself. And I know that a lot of readers sometimes get a little nervous if you see the death card. For me, it can be an exciting card because what is it? It's a gateway. It's a chance to leave behind something and embrace or embark upon something new. And we've been talking a lot in different signs this month about planting a seed, about setting some intention, about opening up to what's possible. And I think that change is really what is presenting itself to you, a chance to create a cycle, to break a cycle, to enter into something new. So this is where I'm actually quite enthusiastic about what this could mean for the sign of Capricorn. And the way that I summed this up was that there is basically a cycle of transformation that's happening for you. And you get a choice right now to walk into that and also to talk about this to people in your life. So this is a chance where you can actually really dig in deeply and say, you know what, I'm ready to start that job, to start that relationship. Or on the reverse side of this, maybe you want to walk away from something where you're not feeling a connection anymore. It really is a chance, again, to open or close a page of your book of life, your story. And knowing that these are essential pieces to your personal growth. Change equals growth. When we hold ourselves back, it really does lead to stagnation. So this month is opening you up to the opportunities in front of you. And of course, it does have to do with things that we're all dealing with right now, which is mortality, fear of like what tomorrow may bring. It's not necessarily driven by fear. It's driven by the realization that, yes, our souls are eternal, but we don't know how much time we have on this planet, so we shouldn't waste a moment. That's really what changes. It comes in and it wakes you up and it says, all right, it's time to deal with this, or this. So this month, Capricorn, it's all about change, and we're going to see how you can ease into that energy, okay? So it's really going to be an exciting reading. I got positive energy, even though we're talking about something I think some people are afraid to talk about, which is, again, like death, change, rebirth. But I think it's very, I think it's very invigorating. So let's try to look at it from that perspective, and we'll see what's coming through. I'm going to turn the camera down at this point and shuffle the cards. At this point, I like to remain quiet as I lay everything out on the table, but rest assured, once I've set out the entire spread here, I will break down each and every symbol and talk about what's coming through in the month ahead. I don't think this has ever happened, but just about every card reversed. So I'm not going to call out reversals today. I'm just going to read the reversed state and talk about how you can move into the energy. So rather than calling each one out, I'm just going to kind of go into maybe what might be holding you back from accepting some of the changes. We have one more card, so let me pull this. Okay, so let's take a look at your first message here. And this is something that I think is a really powerful message. It's all about sometimes how our family, even our culture, or the pressures around us, our peer groups, can hold us back from being what we want to be, seeing ourselves in a new light. And this is saying move beyond ancestral patterns. And we have the elder card here. So this could indicate like the matriarch or the patriarch of your family, or a very trusted individual in your life, a boss, a friend, maybe an older brother or sister, someone who you look up to. And, you know, with that energy is sometimes it's kind of like looming. It's so tall or it's overshadowing. And I think the main message here is to not let that energy get in the way of who you are, what your hopes and fears are, or to somehow diminish the power that you have. Whenever we see like an empress or an emperor card, of course, they can be leadership cards, but sometimes if they're reversed or depending on the position, they can, maybe even through the hope of protecting us, they can sometimes inhibit our ability to become that same sort of powerful energy. So I think some of you might just have someone in your life that's trying to protect, trying to help, trying to save you from, you know, feeling some sort of pain of disappointment, whatever. And the truth is, you know, you're actually strong enough to deal with whatever comes your way. So whether it's a beautiful blessing of abundance or a setback or a delay, you can handle it. And that's my message to you. Your elder kind of served their purpose initially, which was to just kind of be there, protect you, love you, show support. But if there's anyone in your life that won't let you try something or inserts a sort of seed of doubt because of their own fears, it's more of a projection than a protection. And so I want you to kind of ease away from that energy and become your own sort of emperor, empress, elder type of energy, which is just taking accountability, being strong, and you're going to be fine. You'll be fine in this. That's what I see with whatever change or whatever decision comes your way. Now, the way that the Catalyst card functions, and that's what this is sort of like a wayfinding card. It's the first card that I pull, so it sets the tone. It also connects us to the highest energy of the highest information for the month, and it can be something to avoid. So in this case, it's saying it's important to listen to advice, but not at the expense of your own happiness, not at the expense of your own sort of inner compass, which may be pulling you in a direction separate from your parents. And we have a contract with our parents when we enter this life, which is you're going to agree to sort of live within their bubble for a little bit of time. So they give you a cultural lens, they give you the sort of foundation basically to start your life, but you don't permanently owe some sort of debt to them at a certain point, you're supposed to evolve, bloom, and become your own sort of flower, your own sort of person, your own soul. So many of you might be stepping into that power and you're struggling with, but that's my parent or that's my elder. And I'm just letting you know it's okay. It's natural to kind of spread your wings and fly. We see that with birds all the time. So you're at a moment now where you might be sort of spreading your wings. I also see an image of a phoenix rising in my mind. And so I think some of you are at a point where you've learned everything that you need from a relationship, and maybe the other person isn't willing or ready to heal or to let go or even to be there the way you need them to be there. And this is your chance to kind of let that go. Sometimes just releasing it can actually open up the healing too. When and if there's time to do more work with that person, let them come to you. This is your chance now, again, to kind of rise up, spread your wings, and be your own person. So the one upright card is the Knight of Stones or the Knight of Pentacles. And this is all about self-worth and also working on doing something in your life that fulfills you and taking the action. That's why we see a horse moving forward in this. Notice that what's absent is the person. And so I would say one thing I want you to think about this month is, even though, some of you are either working too much or not enough, that's kind of the extremes that I'm dealing with as I'm reading for all signs this month. Whatever your situation is, don't lose track of time, timing, and don't lose a feeling of like that things are getting out of hand or away from you. You have a lot more power than you think. So use your communication to kind of set boundaries, ask questions, get involved. Take initiative, because for some of you, things could just sort of like take off quicker than you think. And whenever things start to go back to the new normal, whatever that new normal is, you want to be prepared for that. So use this time to rest, to meditate and prepare, to make some decisions and some changes in your life, what we've been talking about, and you'll be ready for that. And you can kind of hit the ground running. And that's why you have a very auspicious card at the center, which is basically showing that there could be movement, change, and even growth for some of you. Not all businesses, not all financial situations are contracting, some are expanding. So this is a chance where you might be able to move into that. And if you're not happy with what you want, it's basically saying move on, because we actually see that horse. It's almost like the chariot. Take the reins, try something else. Let's go ahead now and move along to the next card, which is the Two of Wands. And I love that we can actually really see the power that is inherent to this card. Sometimes that gets overlooked. This is one of the key cards that one needs to kind of meditate on to manifest. This plus, I would say, the High Priestess, because this is what really sets into motion the possibility. And when you think of any big event in your life, it's not so much the actual event happening as the moment in your mind and in your heart when you decided, this is what I need, this is what I want, or this has to happen. If you are deciding as a kid which school you want to go to or what career you want to go after, that really sets into motion a trajectory that forever changes your life. When you decide to pop the question and ask your partner, will you marry me? That also sets into motion a very big life change. If you speak to your boss and ask for a raise or go for a promotion or quit, all of these things are major, but they begin with a moment where you see yourself somewhere else. You kind of think, I need to do this, or I think this is possible, or this is who I am, and I'm no longer going to deny myself that. That is why this Two of Wands is surrounded in fire, because it's the fire of change, of decision, of movement, and it starts here and it starts here. The question this month is, are you ready? Are you giving yourself that time and space to start to imagine a new future, a different self, something else? Because if you can do that, then you can have all that sort of fiery energy that you see here. And again, it all starts with a simple idea. What if? Why not now? Can I do this? Am I ready? And then eventually you're going to say, yes, I am. I'm going to do this. So when you meditate on that, really imagine that you can, sometimes for me, it helps to kind of imagine that I can feel it, I can see it, I can taste it, and I imagine that it's getting closer to me in time and in space. And then I just kind of let it go because I know it's going to happen. That confidence in the manifestation of it, the confidence in your ability to also do it, and then also just kind of relaxing and letting it come to you finally. Those are the magical elements, and you have it at your disposal this month. So I really encourage you to focus on manifestation and see past the present. What a wonderful message to come through during these kind of crazy times. Let's look past the here and the now. Let's look at what is possible, what is next. This is how change happens in the world. This is how really great visionaries can move past the limitations of the here and the now and even what we came from before. So imagine great things. As we look at your deep past here, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles card is an independence card in general. And for a lot of you, and this is coming up a lot, by the way, and I think it was also in the past, also reversed for another sign this month. This is showing that many of you were in a good place prior to all the events that were happening right now. And one of the things you want to look at is that you didn't get there accidentally. That for those of you that were feeling really good about your life, it's because of you didn't do anything wrong for what's going on in the world right now. You worked hard, you got to a good place, you can get there again because guess what? You have all of the requisite skills to make it happen again. You have support, and really what this month is about is catching your breath and finding your power again and thinking, all right, I can do this. It wasn't what I planned. It isn't the timing that I wanted. It isn't the way that I thought it would be, but I'm going to tap into my mental resources, my skills, the people in my life, my resolve, and I'm going to just push. The nines have a sort of stubbornness with it's the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups. There's a big push of energy, even the Nine of Swords. Because all of them are, if you're kind of looking at a spectrum, they're on the intense side of things. So use your intensity, in this case, your intense resources or your intelligence or your perseverance to push through and make it work, because you can. And that's what I'm seeing here. And you can and you will be independent again. But this is a time when everybody actually needs to lean on other people, because we're all being affected. If you say you're not, you're actually maybe not tapped into things. Everybody's being affected by the changes on the planet right now. And everybody could use a little bit of empathy, support, help, and we all need to talk and check in with each other. And so no matter how independent you were, there is a time now where the sort of like the veil is being removed. You're coming a little bit out of the hermit phase, and either, you might be drawn to be of service and help others, and that's why you're coming out and you're sharing your resources, or you're asking for help because you're worried about your own safety, well-being, and resources as well. Whatever it is, you're going to stand stronger together by doing that. Another thing my guides want me to talk about is that sometimes the Nine of Pentacles is misunderstood. If this card is reversed, it's saying, don't be afraid to tap into your resources. That could be your savings account. It could also be the goodwill that you've put out there. If you have a great reputation, if you've helped everybody, and this is one point in your life where you kind of need to call in a favor or lean on someone for that kind of support that you've always lent out, then it's going to be there because you've basically set up that foundation. So being resourceful is part of the Nine of Pentacles. You've built it up. And so it's not always just all the little numbers in your bank account. It can also be symbolic, like all the people around you that just want to be there for you. But you have to ask sometimes. And just like the Two of Wands, when you decide to do it, when you decide it's okay, it suddenly is okay. But for some of you, it's that decision that I can do this, I can ask for help, and then I'm still going to be okay because I haven't lost the ability to make it all work out again. So you're stronger than you think. It's okay to ask for help. Once you do that, the resources open up for you. In the recent past, we have the Knight of Swords, and it's really going to show us all of the tricky aspects of communication that are coming through this month. The fact that it actually came through reversed is showing that for many of us, we're trying to catch up to the change and the shift in the speed of communication and also the mode of communication. If you watch television right now, I'm sure everybody's noticed that even major broadcast stations are using things like Zoom and Skype and FaceTime to talk to reporters. So this is unprecedented. That usually doesn't happen unless it's wartime or something, and there was no other way to kind of connect with them. But it's the new norm right now. And for those of you that are working, I'm sure you've also had to make do with different forms. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of communications that we're dealing with right now. It's faster, it's more revealing, sometimes it's messier. Sometimes we say things too quickly and we regret it, or we're not sure how to kind of move into this new form of communication. It will normalize, that's the good thing. But right now you want to take your time, be more patient with yourself, be more patient with others as this adjustment happen. So that's part of why we see that card there. The other thing is to not be too critical of yourself during everything that's going on right now. As people are pushed to their limits and sometimes even the edge of their comfort zone, one of the things that's happening is we're seeing both the best and the worst qualities in ourselves and in others. So really tempering how critical you are is going to be essential. Try to assume the best, try to empathize, and again, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. I think that's going to be super important. The other thing with this card is about clarity. Clarity of mind, clarity of vision, and we could absolutely connect these two cards together. Because when you can clearly see things, when you can clearly communicate things, it starts to happen faster and it really speeds up manifestation. So in this time where we feel like everything's taking forever, if we really focus on envisioning it and accurately and clearly communicating it, then we sit in a powerful position where we can start to see and also affect the changes around us. In the crowning position, we have the Ace of Wands, and I love that we see a bow and an arrow here because this again is going to that center card, the Two of Wands, which is showing that when you make a decision, when you clear your mind, when you decide to take action, then everything starts to follow. It shows the momentum of basically the power of your mind. To be most effective, you'll do one thing at a time here. This may not be the best month for multitasking. It would be better to try to limit scope and really try to hone in on one thing and think this is going to be where I see an amazing shift in my life this month. The other thing that came through was to create a schedule. I think that as we're, changing our communication styles, our work styles. Some of us are working from home, some of us aren't working. We need to start to create a new normal for ourselves. And for me, vitality returns when I have something that I can kind of work within. And that includes a certain time to get up, a certain time to do things, certain expectations or goals for myself. So when I'm looking at this card, which is about basically targeting in on something, I think it's going to be important for you to have goals, targets, and ambitions for yourself. This will energize you. This will help you get back into that sense of feeling empowered, connected to your vitality, and starting to feel like you can make a difference, like you're effective. So your mental clarity will come when you create that schedule, that sort of set of goals, and when you start to expect that things will work out. Clear your mind, clear your thinking, everything else will follow. As I look at the other ace, the message is to keep moving. We have the Ace of Swords here. Now, again, it was reversed, which can show that the movement or the speed with which you're moving may be atypical, may not be to your liking. But just like recovering from an injury, slow and steady actually still is progress. When I had a radial fracture on an elbow here a couple years ago, the first thing that the doctor and also the physical therapist told me was get it out of that sling. It only works with a radial fracture, but basically you have to keep the range of motion or else you're going to lose it. And they said start using it a little bit every day. You can't carry anything heavy, but you do want to start to see if you can start to open it more and more. And then as I went to physical therapy, we would do exercises to increase range of motion and also how much stress it could take. So just as your body takes a little bit of time to start to get back to normal, we're going to be doing the same thing as we adjust to the changing world. And anything that you want to do in your life starts slow. Like a baby, you crawl before you walk, but you keep moving. You always are stimulating, you always are working, you always are trying new things. That's how the human mind grows, that's how the body recovers, that's how we keep evolving. So my main piece of advice for you is that once you've cleared your mind, once you have a goal, once you have a target, every single day, I want you to move forward a little bit, whether it's deciding to, send an important email or to, edit something, fine-tune something, speak with someone, put some time on a calendar to make sure that something is looked at. Whatever it is, every small movement, shift, or bit of progress is getting you closer to your end, getting you closer to your goal. So that's all that's important. Even if you're inching as slow as a worm or a snail this month, that's still movement and that's still something to be celebrated. The other thing with the reversals here is to try to think outside of the box. So there may be a better way to get something done. Again, focusing more on the execution message that I would see with the Ace of Swords. So we've already talked about different ways to communicate. Don't be afraid to do like some research or talk to some experts and see if there's a better way and try it. There's nothing to be lost by trying something new this month. I think actually with all these aces, you might find a better way, or you might be inspired by how somebody else thinks or works, and that could really be beneficial to you this month. So don't be afraid to talk to some people that you trust and that you admire. And we have maybe a new person coming in as a mentor here. This is an unexpected mentor here. We have the Emperor card. Of course, that's an aspect of your own individual energy and independence, but I also think that there could be a person that you've never talked to before that could come through as, you know, a great resource. So keep an open mind and look around you. There might be someone that you can tap into, and maybe there's a new friendship there as well. Looking now at your heart and your soul, we have the Queen of Bows here, or the Queen of Wands. And I actually love it when I see this rabbit, because it's a sign of fertility and it's a sign of renewal. Now, the fact that this rabbit is in reverse is showing, for many of us, it feels like we're trying to play catch up, right? Trying to catch up to, you know, either like we have an inbox that we haven't gotten to, or we feel like there's a lot of work that's stacking up, or the bills are stacking up. And so Queen of Wands is normally a management card. And I would say take it one thing at a time. It's sort of like if you have a messy desk or room, you kind of do one stack at a time or one part of the room at a time, and you don't look at everything or it overwhelms you. So this is where I see sort of these small silos that you take care of. I think you're going to get caught up before you know it, and then you'll feel this sense of control. Queen of Wands is management, so manage your life, your ideas, your reactions first. Then check into the people around you and see if they really want to hear from you. Sometimes people are dealing with their own stuff, and you can't control their reaction to fear. You can't control the way they believe. You can't control the way they're acting. And so this is really focusing on self-management and waiting for people to come to you, a message that I often see when I look at the Empress reversed or the Queen of Wands reversed. If you do focus on yourself, getting control over things, and just feeling like you understand what the challenges are, or what your skills are, or how you can kind of go at it, that sense of hope and control will start to put you into a positive energy. As we look at the environment here, we have the Seven of Cups. And this one is really interesting because if you look at the caption, we see mourning on it. And for many of you, you may be stuck in a way of thinking of like how it was. I miss hanging out at the bar with my friend. I miss being at work and being elbow to elbow where I could talk to people. I miss riding the bus to work, whatever it is. So right now, it's okay to mourn what is lost, but it's also really positive to think about how can I change? What else might be there? What other ways can I do these things? Because this is a brainstorming card. It's actually really good to see this card reversed because it's about clarification. When it's upright, a lot of times it's about getting lost in the ideas. Good for a beginning, good for brainstorming, but sometimes confusing if you have to make a decision, if you have to decide what should I do. So I think this month, one of the messages is to not get lost in nostalgia and not get lost in second guessing yourself and looking at all the possible outcomes, some of them being worst case scenarios. Tap into what you feel, what you think, and take a leap of faith, move forward, try to kind of focus, I think, is the key thing this month. So there's a time and a place for all of that what if, ... and for brainstorming and for thinking about possibilities. This month, it's about taking one of the possibilities and holding it in your hand. And that's really what we normally see with the Two of Wands, taking a stand, making a choice, and entertaining that choice. Another form of stagnation can be that sort of like indecision, right? So I think you get a chance this month to move through indecision, and you have to make some fast choices. As we look at possibilities, we have the Five of Pentacles, and this has been showing up so much for almost every sign, and it's a lot of times here in the hopes and fears. So Five of Stones, Five of Pentacles. The first thing that this is really about is making sure that you feel good about key relationships in your life. I talked yesterday about not having any sort of regrets because of things you've said. It can also be And for you this month, it's a slightly different message. I really think for you, it's about personal development so that you have a sense of confidence. And one of the biggest things that I think is happening right now on a world level is confidence is sort of shrinking or being cracked at the sort of seams here. So on some levels, that's good because it's having us sort of reevaluate the way we've been living and kind of conducting business and all of that. But when it comes to each person, I think that this is a chance to rebuild. So look at the pieces of your life where you feel like, I wish I could have more there. So maybe for some of you, it could be getting a GED or going to college, or it could be getting a special training, learning a new skill, because you know that you will emerge from this eventually. And when you do, you're going to be lifted up by this sort of new skill, this new fascination, this new expertise. So training is a really good thing to do right now. It can also just be picking up a book and expanding your thoughts and your knowledge. So the fact that that card was reversed, a lot of these cards, this is an introverted month where you're putting the energy within. It's about how can you improve your self-confidence, and whatever is necessary there, do it. And for some of you, that's pulling away from people that make you question yourself. Also, the caption on this one has to do with endurance. So look at the part of your life where sometimes you feel like, you know what, I don't give myself a lot of credit, but I've made it through some difficult moments. It could have been, again, you're the sole breadwinner, or someone in your life disappointed you and you had to pick up the pieces. Maybe you're a single parent. Maybe you're taking care of a parent that's older and they're depending on you now. Whatever it is, there's something about you that shows survivability, stubbornness, independence, self-sufficiency, good ideas. Really anchor yourself in that and say, all right, I might not always see it, but I know I have it. I have the ability to make wonderful things happen. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be resourceful, and I'm going to lean on myself this month if I have to. When it comes to children and parents in your life, there's always a chance for healing with the Five of Pentacles. So if it feels right and if you want to do it, there's a beautiful mending and healing energy around those core relationships. You don't have to have that person in the flesh to do it. You can meditate and forgive someone without saying a word. They can be in spirit and you can still send that message. It's even easier when they've passed because they hear your thoughts if you want them to. So a thought of love and release can do a lot for somebody on the other side. So wherever you're at in that process, I think that there's some great healing to be done with families this month if you choose to do so. Because this is in hopes and fears, and the Five of Pentacles has to do with your health, your overall health, I would say do whatever is necessary this month to build up your health. So that could be resting more, exercising more, eating better. Do whatever is necessary to really keep yourself healthy. It showed up in a fear area, so if you're afraid of it, empower yourself by taking action on that space. Because it's also in fears, I'm not that worried about this, but sometimes with the Five of Pentacles, we can be experiencing pain in the joints or extremities. It's usually the legs. So just pay close attention to that part of your body. Is there anything going wrong with, knees, legs, ankles, feet? If so, take care of that this month, and just be extra careful with traveling by foot or anything where you're using your legs a lot. Just check in and be kind to your body. The outcome card is good. We have the Green Man here. It's not a Fool card in this deck. It's actually the Emperor. And you can kind of see him here mixing his magic brew here. It's kind of like you're taking control, putting something into your life and seeing it grow, seeing the fertility of it. That's why we have the Green Man. It's also a card of basically seeing things grow. And so I see a lot of really wonderful symbols of abundance here. So the Green Man shows me that you could be stepping into more control, more growth. We see that also with the Queen of Wands here with the hair, which to me is one of the ultimate symbols of fertility and growth. So out of loss, change, or shifting, we see a very subtle death symbol there. We see a lot of movement, growth, and change. And we got two aces for you too. The Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords, an idea and an execution of the idea, a communication, a thought, an ability to kind of take that leap of faith, but you do have to move it forward. Aces are ideas, they're potential, but you have to tap the potential. So go for it. Let's take this from a different angle. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and put a new lens on top of this. Looking now at the health card, we have green Tara. It says supreme protection. You're protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation, trust. So there's a few things with this. The protection piece is something that I want to talk about. I think we're all focusing a lot on how to protect ourselves, how to stay safe. The other thing here is with the spiritual protection, I'm going to maybe work on this in the meditation. Let me just write this down because I sometimes there's a lot we're covering. I don't want to forget this. So I'm going to put protective shield. I'll work on trying to kind of amp up your auric shield so that you have that protection in place. You should be starting every day with a protection meditation. I actually last month did a couple. I did an evening and morning ritual. So it doesn't matter what you do, but I think if you could set aside 5 or 10 minutes in the morning, you could be brushing your teeth, you could be taking a shower, it could be while you're still in bed before the house wakes up around you if you have a big family. Just imagine yourself surrounded in light, call in a protection, sort of like an angel or a guide or just a light. Can be very high level. You could just imagine, one thing that I do sometimes is just imagine that a spotlight follows me everywhere, sort of like a star shining down on me. And everywhere I walk, every thought that I make, that light shines on the thoughts, shines on my body, and it follows me just like an actor on the stage. So that's a very simple meditation that you can do. We'll do a little bit more later today. I wrote it down so I'll remember. Also, when we're looking at protection, for me, this is just encouraging you to look at things like insurance, your will, your trust, things as simple as security in the house as well. This is a good time to just sort of look at all aspects of your life and make sure that it's buttoned up from a legal perspective, from a health perspective, and just even again, your house and your passwords and things like that. This is a good time to get secure and take care of your well-being. And again, part of that starts with the morning ritual. We talked already about the 5 of Pentacles, which shows that you need to take care of your legs, your feet, your joints. The other thing that I see here with the 7 of Cups, I think some of you would just really benefit from talking to somebody this month. It could be a psychologist or psychiatrist. It could also just be a friend. And so if you need a listening ear, find a way to get that, because sometimes the 7 of Cups can be alleviated simply by talking to someone. You'll notice that other people are going through a lot of the same questions. And it's kind of normalizing to hear someone else in the same space as you. Now, as we look at wealth, we have a really wonderful symbol here, an egg, which is showing something that can hatch, something that can be created. There's potential basically at your fingertips this month. The message below is all about intention. So if you put energy into something, it can happen. If you want something to happen enough, you can start to find a way to do it. Now, there are 2 little pieces to this. First of all, the egg, and then the seed pod here, the dandelion seed. And with the dandelion, I would say what's important when you think of that is that it gets carried by the wind to the right location at the right time, and then it takes root. So there's a release element that's happening. The center portion is saying, yes, but first you need to let something develop before you rush it out to delivery. So patience is the first message. Be clear on your vision. Don't rush it. In fact, really make sure that you believe in it before you let it go. And then at a certain point, let it go. Don't hold on too tightly. So if you're trying to kind of cook up a new idea for a potential product that you might try to sell, if you're in an existing business and you want to evolve your sort of business model to do something else, I think this month is a time for development. The release will probably happen in about a month's time. But once you release it, it looks like it's going to be good. The dandelion seed portends good things. So I think the most important thing is to be clear on your vision. Don't rush. And then once you finally finished it, don't try to be a perfectionist either. There's this happy medium between letting it develop and letting it go. Even like an egg, we can think of this. If there's a certain amount of time that you have to eat it or it spoils. So I think this month you have a very delicate balance. The egg is a perfect symbol of that delicate energy. So if you don't put anything into it, it won't be fertilized and you can't use it. If you wait too long to use it, then it spoils. And if you put too much pressure on it, it breaks. So I think trust yourself, put just enough time and energy into anything that you care about this month and let it go and move on. And I think that not going to extremes this month is a really important message with work in general. To kind of bring this into everyday speak, I would say for those of you that, again, are in a business, this is a great month for you to think of how you can evolve your model to change with the changing world. There's a great idea that I think many of you can tap into. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Test it out a little bit. Don't overthink it either, because sometimes when you do that, you lose sort of the potency of the idea. So easy does it this month. But I do think it's a good time to put energy into research and development. It's going to pay off in the long run. And for yourself, I think this is a good time to put energy and development internally as well, because just like that egg or just like that seed pod, it's going to help you in the months and years to come continue to develop and grow. We looked at health, we looked at wealth, let's look at love. So it says, the pearl threaded. This is really interesting. So each of us holds something that's really unique and wonderful about ourselves. And I think sometimes we're looking for that pearl of insight or inspiration or passion in someone else. The truth is, this month, you're going to have to find and cultivate that within. Interesting that they show a pearl in that, because pearl it takes time, energy, compression to kind of make something happen. So I think many of you are actually this month kind of like a clam is what has a pearl. So it's like a clam opening up, and you're going to reveal your pearl. And it's the revelation, it's that reveal moment where you're actually going to attract someone. And it's not because you're missing something, it's because you have something. And it's a beautiful metaphor and a beautiful card. It's your self-sufficiency, your Nine of Pentacles energy, that is actually going to attract a partner of the same self-sufficiency, the same beauty, the same joy, the same energy. This is saying cultivate that which you seek, and you will attract it. And when you don't need it, you attract it. It's the law of detachment. So if you're looking for love this month, I think the important thing to do is to really focus on your confidence, since we saw the Five of Pentacles, executing what's important in your life, since we saw two aces, and also just setting an intention through vision work and through just kind of soul searching, like what it is you're trying to create or attract in respect to a relationship. What are you looking for? Is it friendship? Is it passion? Is it, a family and a future? Be clear on that. Project it out to the universe. There's no right or wrong. Each of us is on a different path. So project out your truth, and then feel like you have everything that you're looking for, but you're ready for a partner to celebrate that. So you're going to find someone else who has that same pearl of energy and same sort of core belief system. And then send the signal, now I'm ready. And then let it go. I know these are contradictory things, but you say you're ready and then just focus on something else. The readiness will be the attractive force. You don't have to keep projecting it. And that's what I see. If you're in a relationship right now, we have a lot of strong energy, and there could be wills that kind of could spar each other, because swords and wands can sometimes kind of go against each other. But the interesting thing, they can also work in concert, and that's what you see here. So try to support each other if you can. And there may be some really strong feeling of like, well, I want to do it this way, I want to do it this way. See if there's a middle ground, or see if you can support each other in your different endeavors without competing for resources. And I think that's the key thing. Like it doesn't have to be a competition. If you are in a relationship, that's the main message, is to try to find a common ground. If you are single and looking, I think it's really about personal development, because ultimately we have a king card here, the Emperor, and I don't really see a queen card this month. I saw a Queen of Wands, but I didn't see an Empress. So I think this month it's about personal accountability, development, and then deciding what's important to you and just being patient. If you are kind of either just recently you met someone, or you really are intent on finding someone, even though we're kind of in a social distancing period, there's lockdown, there's a lot of stuff kind of working counter to it, then I'm seeing a very stubborn energy coming in for you. We have the Queen of Wands in reverse, and this is someone who will challenge the way you're thinking. So you're not necessarily bringing in a partner as much as you are someone who wants to be provocative and maybe help you look at your life from it's a teacher. And I mentioned this when I was talking about in one of my meditation videos. I always try to pull in a partner, not a teacher, if I'm trying to find a mate or trying to find a friend. Or even when I was calling in Apollo, I wanted an energy that was just sort of really relaxed and level. I didn't want him to try to teach me things. So my warning this month is to make sure that what you're pulling in isn't sort of just someone that's trying to kind of shift your perspective, because that's what I'm seeing in the ego. We also have a couple of knights, which can indicate two energies of the same sort of age range, and possibly even a partnership. And so the center one is Pentacles, which is giving, nurturing, supportive. And then we have Swords, but reverse. So this is someone who does a lot of talking. So you could be in a relationship where one of you is very, very outspoken, makes the decisions, push things forward. The other person is there to kind of like support, but there needs to be balance between that as well. So if you're looking for love or you're in a relationship, it's really about balancing things out and making sure that there's not too much of a tug of war. It's a great month to not be in a relationship or to not focus so much on the relationship, because everything this month said it's about you. And very rarely do I sort of say it's not about being selfish. It's about being able to nurture yourself and move forward. So this is a month for personal care, personal growth, which will ultimately help you in the long run attract that which you seek. All right, let's look at your final card, which is Destiny. Destiny is a trajectory in this spread. It's not set in stone. Even when we're out of our bodies planning what we want in this life, we set milestones and we have choices. Some things we can avoid, but many things we can decide to embrace or avoid altogether. And for this one, we have crystals, and it can indicate, for instance, your intention. How clear is your intention? The other part of this is about healing things. And one thing that I've been focusing on is trying to sometimes meditate on the idea of being in a sort of like diamond frequency or crystalline frequency, which clears out a lot of the ancestral stuff, which we saw with the Elder card here, clears out a lot of the lower toxic things that we see every day in, songs and news and people's sort of gossip. It's just kind of going higher and trying to see the big purpose. So some of you might be trying to clarify energetically, clarify your goals, clarify your relationships. Ultimately, the energy opportunity this month is really about clarity and healing. So feel free to embrace it, and absolutely you can use crystals to help you with that. So even just a regular quartz crystal would be fine. You can get these, when stores were open, you could get it at any metaphysical bookstore, but you can also get it on Amazon if you want. I usually try to pick one with a lot of clarity, like this one, and it helps when I'm meditating. So a good time to work with crystals and experiment a little bit. But I think the symbology is beyond the literal, which is really about trying to kind of clear out the cobwebs, make a clear choice, also clear the energy between you and between others. Let's review what we talked about, and then we'll go into some of the deeper energy about maybe what you can transform or move into this month. So, cycles of transformation, big thought this month, big idea, and everything this month was focused on you. The cards are turned towards you, even as you're looking at this. So the message is really about how can I embody these cards? So I'm going to read them as if they're all upright for you. And the reversal is kind of like the mental block about them. Change equals growth. That's the important thing to remember this month. You can do this. You have to do this on many levels. The first message here is to be the strong one if you have to. If there's someone in your life that has always sort of told you what to do or made you second guess yourself, the message here is you have the power to do it on your own. You always have, and you don't want to let that person kind of step in too much and kind of steal your opportunity to grow, to shift, to change. If you find yourself in that role sometimes because you're a single parent, you're a boss, you're the bigger brother, sister that people come to, step back a little bit this month and focus on your own growth so that you're not cheating yourself and you're also not cheating them of the chance for development. So don't let things get out of hand this month. We have a resource card here, the Knight of Stones or Knight of Pentacles. And this is saying when it comes to money, time, energy, resources, get a handle on it, make some decisions, more importantly, over it. And then once you've made the decisions, everything starts to catch up and move around you. Just the pure energy of saying, I choose this, I will do this, I am doing this, actually moves the wheel of fortune around you. We didn't see that card, but that's really the key to it. As we look here at Deep Past, many of you already have the independence that you seek. And if you've already built something and unfortunately it's time to kind of let it go because of things out of your control, you can rebuild. You still have that energy of innovation, of independence. Don't let that independence get in the way of you asking for help, however, and don't think that receiving help makes you weak. It's simply a stepping stone to what's next in your life. With the Knight of Arrows, or again, Knight of Swords here, be positive, be communicative, try not to be too critical. And if you have communications with others, this one ties directly up to the Queen of Wands. Don't feel like you have to criticize or judge. Wait for them to ask you for that kind of judgment or advice. Instead, be supportive, be listening. And I think that's the key thing. Listening ear is going to be one of the best things. You see the ears on this card, actually, right? Even though this is Queen of Wands, it's saying listen more. You'll get some ideas from others and you'll learn a lot about them as well. 2 aces, very auspicious, very positive. We have Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. Great idea, great execution. Maybe 2 ideas and one deserves a little bit more energy. In a relationship, this can be 2 strong wills. Remember, though, as we look at this crowning card, they can work in concert. We see both the arrow and the bow working together. And so that's really the message here, is you don't have to be separate. You can actually be combining your energies and you'll be stronger for it. Manage yourself, manage your life. Feel like you're in control. Find something in your life that you can control, and that actually has a domino effect. Make a decision. It's okay to be sad about something that was. Think about what will be or what can be again, maybe. But know that it's sometimes impossible to go back to exactly what was in the past. Have you ever gone back to an old job, an old house, or even like just some place in your life that you really remembered fondly, and as an adult, or maybe with the passage of time, a couple of years, it looks so much different? Maybe it looks smaller. Maybe it's not just this, whatever it was that you remembered most about it, it somehow seems a little less than. That's because the lens of nostalgia sometimes warps things. So use the lens of possibility instead and focus on tomorrow. Looking at hopes and fears, focus on personal development. That's why every card, again, as I turn the camera down, is facing you. It's about you this month. And that's really what we saw with love too. When you are fixed, when you are solid, when you feel good, everything else is okay. There's really not a negative card in this deck today. I don't believe in negative cards anyway, but I would say there's nothing here really difficult to deal with. They're all positive, especially when I turn the camera towards you. So you've got a good month ahead. A lot of it boils down to perspective and to feeling good about the possibilities, which is why we have a confidence card here. A slight note on health, to take care of your feet, your legs, your knees. That part of your body may need a little bit more TLC. I think for some of us, there's just circulation issues because we're sitting too much. We have a card on top here that normally shows a king sitting at a throne. So make sure you're moving your legs and getting circulation. Even if you're just watching something on YouTube or television and working out with that, that's A-okay. You've got to move your body and your muscles a little bit. This is a time when we're really focused on taking care of our health and protection. One thing that I wrote here to the side, so I didn't forget, was we'll do a spiritual shield of protection. I think also looking at your will. What do you want if something does happen in your life? Make sure that that's okay. Looking at your trust, looking at, are your finances cinched up? Is your password, your house, everything else sort of secured? This is a time to look at all of that. And then we have a really positive card here as we look at wealth. There's something that's going to take some time to hatch. You have to hatch an idea, fertilize, grow, or invest in something. Not necessarily with actual money. This is an egg card. So that's about like time and energy and insight. So focus on developing it. You'll see movement there. Again, you are that which you seek. Keep working on yourself and your energy will attract someone else. And if we think of like these are pearls strung together, a string of pearls, you want to pull in a soul universe of people that are in that same resonance. So the more you sort of polish your energy, your intent, and as we see here, kind of get clear and clean, the more the people around you are going to have that same resonance. So the work you do on yourself is going to positively affect everything, everyone around you. I have to say, Capricorn, you had probably one of the more positive readings this month with some really beautiful messages, all centering around self-growth. So don't be afraid to spend a little bit of time with yourself, working on things that you care about. It's going to positively affect everything in your life, from your relationships to your resources to your overall emotional and mental state. I'm looking forward to seeing how all of it pans out for you. Let's get now into the soul path portion where we're going to look at past, present, and future influences that are helping you either embrace the energy of transformation or perhaps kind of blocking you from seeing what's possible. I talked about being able to sometimes put on a pair of glasses. It bends the light. It's not really changing what's out there. It's just changing our ability to see it clearer. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put on some glasses and look at the past, present, and future, and hopefully help you see the possibilities. All right, we have the Nine of Cups in reverse. I'd like to look at it in the upright position, however, because it's more powerful and it actually goes to how you can shift the energy here from the past. In the upright position, this is a card of joy, celebration, passion, even generosity, as we see here with this caption. And I think that there might have been a moment in the past where for some reason you were taken out of your power being your passion. Was there a parent, a teacher, or someone that you trusted that made you just feel like you weren't enough, you couldn't do it, it wasn't right for you to follow your dream? If so, I want you to re-embark upon that inner child's journey towards something that they loved. And if there was someone in your life that you saw was kind of taken off their path, this might be a chance for you to mentor or help them. But irrespective of what that is, this month, focus on what makes you happy or someone else happy and cultivate that in your life. This is what we see here with the pearls here. It takes time, it takes energy to create something of joy and of beauty. Spend some time this month investing in that part of your life again. We can't solely focus on work. We can't solely focus on pleasing others. We have to also make sure that our soul is growing, is happy, is experiencing joy. This is also a card of perspective. I mentioned that all of the 9 cards can be intensity. 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles. They're all very, very intense. So with the 9 of Cups, make sure that you're putting that intensity towards possibilities. Sometimes with 9 of Cups, there can be sort of like a type A personality where you focus on accomplishment, and if you fail or if things don't go as quickly or sort of as smoothly as you expected, you can kind of beat yourself up. Don't do that anymore. If you did that, don't do that this month, especially if you've never done it before. Focus instead on each day being a blessing, each experience bringing you more context, and each tomorrow bringing new opportunities. Positivity, passion, joy. These are the things that you want to reconnect with this month, and perhaps some of you have lost because of obligation, because of authority figures, because of just being too hard on yourself. So get back into the joy. We have the 7 of Swords in reverse. I want to pull this in the upright position, however, so you can see the illustration. It says insecurity in the caption, and what's really interesting in this is that we actually see the swords coming towards the source. If there's somebody in your life that has been proverbially and perpetually sort of getting away with something, there's a chance this month that karmic retribution may happen where they're revealed. There's also just the general note that it's not up to you to do that things tend to work themselves out in exactly the right time. Focus instead on your own accountability, your own personal self-worth so that you're not insecure like that person might be, and don't let them get to you. This is a chance to pull the arrows out and think, I don't need to kind of hold that experience that we had in the past and allow it to hurt me anymore. I'm not going to hold on to anger, to fear, or to resentment. Each of those arrows could represent a different frequency or different energy or different experience that you were holding on to because of someone in your life that acted without accountability, that did something behind your back. And this month it might be coming to the surface. So see that as a blessing because now you understand what you want to focus on, and see yourself as being stronger for not being attached to that person. I see this as a chance to unshackle, to move into the light, and to allow the karmic scales of justice to bring balance around you. You don't have to do it. You don't have to be the one that is worrying about petty arguments or anything like that. Stay in the light, go high, and allow new people to come into your life that are in that same resonance as we saw here with these 2 kind of cosmic pearl energies. And I think that this is bringing you into a brighter sort of sense of being. So I think you have a chance to walk away from someone who perhaps was making you have self-doubt, who perhaps wasn't always acting in your best interest, and now you get to just sort of be strong and independent when it comes to that kind of a relationship. It's also just a reminder to follow through and say what you're gonna do, what you're gonna say you're gonna do, and always be accountable, and you should be okay. And also, a good rule of thumb here is if you're worried about someone hearing something, you probably shouldn't say it. Just act with integrity and hold others to that same level of integrity. And if you do that, you're going to really be successful and happy in life. So we have the 9 of arrows here, and this is one of the most unique illustrations because look at how she's walking away from the arrows behind her. It's like enough is enough. A lot of times with the 9 of swords, you'll see that feeling of being overwhelmed by fear, by doubt, by uncertainty, a lot of times by worrying about things that aren't real. So in this particular card, she's basically acknowledging that it's time to move on, and she's ready to move on from that. There's also a feeling that everything that she experienced was context that brought her to the maturity, to the realization of exactly who she is. So when we are at that point and we can kind of look back in retrospect and think, you know, enough is enough, and I'm not happy necessarily that I went through that, but I wouldn't change a single thing because look at where I am today. Look at how much stronger I am for the challenges, for those twists and turns in the road. I'm going to be okay. She's ready to move on. She's ready to walk on. She's a survivor. So that's the ultimate message here, is that you can get rid of those things that are holding you back. You can move forward with that sense of, I know who I am, and you're going to give yourself permission to find a sense of joy, happiness, and fulfillment again. Let's move now into your meditation, where we're going to be combining the messages that we just saw here of being able to see everything as a blessing in your life and get back into that happier state, that happier energy, or that passionate energy that's going to bring you the power that will ultimately help you realize your dreams, that is also going to help you focus on personal development that will clear your energy and help you attract other people in your life of that same energy. All right, Capricorn, please find a comfortable place to either lay down or to be seated. Close your eyes and imagine that you are no longer here, but you're actually on the beach, laying down on the sand, feeling the support and the energy of the earth beneath you as you take your first breath. On the exhale, you let go, feeling that each and every grain of sand has your back, is supporting you, is giving you a small energetic massage, if you will. Each and every grain of sand has been heated by the energy of the sun. So you have all these little crystals beneath you that are going to, on a cellular level, give you an upgrade, give you a massage, and basically warm your energy, warm your spirit, and bring you into a higher frequency. Take a deep breath and just open yourself up to receiving the support from the planet. Especially along the neck, shoulder, and back, exhale and just release. Feel that you are supported, you are okay. Almost as if you are being held by a parent, by someone that you care about in their arms, and you feel safe. You feel like it's going to be okay. Even if you've never felt that before in your life, you're safe here, you're safe now, and you feel like you're going to really just be able to let go for once. As you tune your attention towards the sun above you, you feel this beautiful blanket of light, of heat, of energy as it cascades over your body, connecting you with the earth, connecting you with the elements, making you also feel a safe, warm blanket of energy around you. Once you've taken a few deep breaths, I want you to stretch out, allowing each and every limb to really fully be extended, feeling that you have energized, that you have healed every bone, every muscle, every cell in your body. Slowly get up. Walk along the beach until you find the perfect piece of sea glass. This can be whatever color you'd like. For some of you, it could be aquamarine. For some of you, it might be crystal clear. For some of you, it might be blue or orange or yellow or whatever color you would like. Find that piece of sea glass which is shining like a crystal and hold it in your hand. Hold it towards the sun now and watch as the rays of light start to move through the crystal. Imagine now that the crystal and you become one, that you actually are able to travel through one of the rays of light shining through the crystal, and you transport yourself within that crystalline structure. Around you now is not only the beautiful color of the crystal, but also the protective energy of that crystal. And you can see the world more clearly. It's like you've put a pair of glasses on. For some of you, it could be rose-colored, seeing love, seeing opportunity around you. For some of you, you could be pulling in abundance using the color green, both love and prosperity. For some of you, it might be about communication, so you're pulling in the color blue. Whatever your crystal is shaped as, whatever color it is, I want you to see the color within this amplify, and I want you to shine it as brightly as a star as I start to play this singing bowl. Become one with the crystal, allow your color to shine brightly, and know that this shield, this color, this energy is going to pull you through the month of May. So really see the energy grow as I play the singing bowl. For those of you on headphones, tune the volume down a little bit. The rest of you just enjoy. Inhale. Exhale and relax and gently open your eyes. I want you to see yourself now coming back into your body, snapping this new sort of energetic shield around you with your physical self, feeling that you are protected, that your ability to shine brightly, protect yourself in the coming month has been set in place, that you are going to be safe and really welcome in all of the opportunity and abundance that wants to find its way to you in the month ahead. Thank you again for allowing me to edit this and put it out there in the proper form. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just a reminder that everything that you see here is viewer supported. So if you like what you see, feel free to join me either as a channel member or on Patreon. I'm going to put some information at the bottom here, which I can't do during a live presentation, showing you how you can connect across the different social media platforms. And for all of you that were able to join me live, thank you so much. It was good to see you. And hopefully on the next live reading, all of the technical issues will go away. In the meantime, I just want to say thanks again for showing up. My purpose here is to help everybody be their highest self, to really make a difference on the planet by finding that inner light and helping others. So hopefully I was able to do that for you. Take care. I'll see you soon. And again, I appreciate your patience. Have a great day.